Hello, my name is Harshal Agrawal. I'm from Dr. Ronald E. McNair Academic High School in Jersey City, New Jersey. This summer, I'm conducting research at Montclair State University in the Center for Environmental and Life Sciences. My mentors are Dr. Yang Dang and his graduate student, Mr. Li Zhang. So the purpose of my summer research is to find a cost-efficient, effective, and most important of all, efficient way of preventing harmful algae blooms by filtering runoff from places like farms and gardens. So harmful algae blooms primarily occur because of an unnatural increase in nitrate and phosphate. So nitrate and phosphate are basically these two nutrients. And when these nutrients are found in fertilizers. And when farmers or homeowners, when they apply these fertilizers onto their field and it rains, that excess fertilizer ends up running downhill, going into bodies of waters like lakes and rivers. So those excess nutrients feed the algae present in those bodies of water, and it causes for a harmful algae bloom. So algae blooms are harmful because most species of algae are toxic, and these toxic species of algae can kill the aquatic wildlife inside of the body of water. Furthermore, a lot of the toxins that these algae produce, they've known to cause ALS and Alzheimer's in humans. And on top of that, when you have algae on the surface of a water, sunlight can't get through the plant life in the bottom of the lake. So that lack of sunlight kills off that plant life, and the fish that eat those plant life, they die. So it sets off this dangerous ripple effect in the aquatic ecosystem. So this summer, where I'll be going to 11th grade next year, I am continuing my project and working on phase 4 of my research. So phase 4 is particularly targeted towards field implementation. So what I'm doing in phase 4 is I'm simulating an agriculture field such as a farm or a garden in these little trays. So what I have in these trays is, first I have a layer of soil. I mean, this is still a work in progress, it's a prototype. So this layer of soil is representing the farmland. So in this layer of soil, I will be planting seeds from a species of spinach commonly known as baby leaf spinach. So I'll be planting spinach seeds in this layer of soil, and then every day I'll be watering the soil with water that's spiked with fertilizer from the company Miracle-Gro. So this fertilizer's NPK number is 949, and what that basically means is that it's 9% nitrogen, 4% phosphorus, and 9% potassium. So every day I'll be watering my spinach with water that contains some fertilizer. And my trays are going to be on an incline. So when I water the spinach over in this upper section here, that water is going to run downhill over this section of sawdust here. So this section of sawdust, as I'll show you later when I go outside to my colonization balcony, it's going to have mushrooms growing on it, or it's going to have mushroom mycelium growing in it. So when that water runs downhill, that mushroom mycelium is going to get a chance to come into contact with the water and filter it. After the mushroom gets to filter the water, I'll have drainage holes drilled onto this side of the bucket. So the water is going to get filtered by the mushrooms and then drain out of the bucket. Once it drains out of the bucket, I'll be able to test the water to see what's its nitrate content and phosphate content. I'll compare the water that I get out here to the water that I put in on this end to see how effective is my method of filtration. So out here on the terrace, I have these 4 bags of mesh. So with each bag, I took a roll of mesh, I stapled the ends of it, and then within each bag, I have either sawdust from the alder tree or a mixture of dead Phragmites leaves and wood chips. So I call that mixture my organic substrate, and my other substrate is just the sawdust. So in these 4 bags, I have mixed my substrate, so either my organic substrate or sawdust, with Stropharia spawn. And what Stropharia spawn basically is it's something that you purchase from a company, and what the company does is they grow sawdust with the Stropharia culture, and it's basically sawdust with a really high concentration of mycelium growth or mushroom growth. So I mix that in with my 4 substrates here in these 4 different bags to get the mycelium growth onto what I want it to grow on. And so these will be the 4 testing groups that I test in my experiment. My intention for using mesh bags is so that the water can drain out of the substrate, and so that it doesn't pool in the substrate, because if the water pools, it'll cause for my mushroom species to die. And so I've done this outdoors and not instead in an incubator, because when you're growing mushrooms in a controlled setting, the chances of contamination are very high. However, if you grow them outdoors, the contamination chance decreases very significantly just because of something that I like to call the biological vacuum. Outside, there's a relative homeostasis between the contaminants present inside the mushroom and outside the mushroom. Thus, that leads to less fungal growth. But inside, it's the complete opposite. I mean, there really hasn't been much research done about why that happens, but it's my hypothesis for why I see less contamination outside. But yeah, so basically this is my setup here. This is my mentor, Dr. Dang. This summer, Partners in Science was able to pair me up with him at Montclair State University. And right now I'm collaborating with him to continue my research from the past 3 years with harmful algae bloom prevention using Stropharia microfiltration. I was paired with Dr. Dang at Montclair State University because his research is to an extent similar to what I'm doing with water or runoff treatment. And so what Partners in Science has allowed me to do is, A, it has allowed me to see what real research looks like, and B, allowed me to interact with STEM professionals. I mean, I've always done research in my high school lab, and before that my middle school lab, but I never really realized how meaningful it is or how great of an impact it could have on the real world. I mean, seeing some of the research done by my peers at Partners in Science and even some of the students here at Montclair State University, it made me realize that the possibilities by doing research are truly endless. And I mean, so I've always wanted to make a change in the world, and I think research might be the best way to do it. So I mean, Partners in Science has made me really consider pursuing a career in research as the way to go.
I'm an associate professor at Montclair State University, Department of Earth and Environment Studies. I'm environment engineer. My research interest is on water treatments and wastewater treatments. I have been here for 7 years. So it's my pleasure to host, Harshal in my groups for the summer inter-research. Education and outreach activities are my two major career goals. I hope, my experience and my expertise can help the young people who are interested in research, particularly in science, engineering, and technology.
Pursuing a research for a long time helps give that research more validity and makes it better. So definitely it's something that I do wish to pursue when I enter college and even after that. So I mean, right now my research has broken down into 5 phases. Phase 1 being 8th grade, phase 2 9th grade, and so on. So phase 5 will end in the summer of my senior year. And by phase 5, I wish to implement my research out in the real world on a farm or a garden. So depending on the success of phase 5, when I enter college, I wish to share my research with professors and possibly even get more people involved, because I believe that science is best done in teams. So I mean, I think at the high school level it is a bit hard to do that, but when I enter college, I definitely do. I do wish to expand my team and pursue this further.
If I have a chance, I will highly recommend this program to my colleagues and my friends and other universities. Based on my experience is, based on the discussions between me and the students, my feeling is, the students think more and further about their research from beginnings. Why do they do this research? And objective, hypothesis, approach, expected results, and conclusions. Another important thing for me is my feeling is after the trainings in this program, the students seems to be more interested in the research in science and technology. I hope also I encourage the students to choose the STEM as their future careers.
To potential future Partners in Science students, I mean, all I have to say is, if you like doing research or are finding something new or are curious about any field in STEM, I think Partners in Science is the way to go. I mean, so I myself, I'm doing research at a environmental department, but some of my peers are doing researches with HoloLens or even astrophysics for that matter. So I think the varieties truly are endless. So if you have an interest in STEM, or just want to learn more and spend your summer usefully, then definitely apply to Partners in Science. I mean, all I would say is find something that's close to your house, because the commute will get a bit tedious. But aside from that, it's a great program.